Hello everyone, hope you're doing good. So I'm out in the garden. I've got about an hour to mess around out here before I have to go back in and do some stuff. So we're going to see how many seeds I can get sown in that amount of time. Okay, so I have several packets of seeds here for this bed. So I'm just going to go ahead and lay these out where I think that I would like to have them growing. So I have those laid out, and then these are flowers for the most part that I'm going to be kind of interspersing between each of these beds. So those are going to be specific to this bed, but these will be shared among beds. So first we're going to begin with Eskimo marigolds. Okay, so I'll put about half of those in that area. Beside that, we're going to do summer savory. I've tried to grow summer savory several years now, and I can never get it to germinate. So I'm just going to dump a lot of the seeds in this packet in this area and hope that I get a good amount. Alright, so that was that whole packet of seeds, and I heavily sowed that. Next, we're going to do spotted bee balm. This is one that I got for medicinal purposes, and it also is supposed to smell really good. So that's all of the seeds in this packet. So all of these will go in this area. Next, we're going to do some Sensation Mixed Colors Cosmos. I have these in the other bed as well, so I'm only going to do half of this packet here and then save the other half for the other bed that's next. And by the way, I do have blueberries growing here. So I'm just making sure to leave a couple of feet around this. I'm not expecting it to get extremely big this year. You know, I actually changed my mind about putting the cosmos right here. I don't want to block this out from the sun. So I'm just going to swap this and actually sow some lettuce here. So this is going to be little gem lettuce. And with your lettuces, you can sow them close together if you want like baby greens, or if you want a full head of lettuce, you need to sow them further apart to allow them to develop. We've moved to the other side of the blueberry plant, and on this side we're going to do mini zinnias. In this mix, none of these will get more than like 2 feet tall. And when I'm doing this with the mulch, I'm just dispersing it enough that I know that these seeds are going to be able to reach the soil. Okay, so I took about half of this packet. So I would say, I don't know, maybe about 20 seeds, maybe a little bit more than that in that handful. And I sprinkled that in about a 1 by 2 foot area. You can do these further apart or close together, whatever you choose. On the other side of the lettuce, I'm going to do a little patch of cilantro. Hopefully the smell of the cilantro will keep a lot of the pests off of the lettuce here too. That was probably about 15 to 20 seeds, so that seems to be about the average for the amount of seeds that I'm sprinkling in an area. And that will give it like a very full look. And I'm counting on some of these not germinating too, so I'm sowing heavily. Now in the center of this, I'm going to do those cosmos. I'm just creating a little trench. So I've just sown 2 seeds for the Italian striped Coselle zucchini right here, 2 just to make sure that at least one of them come up, and I'll thin the other if needed. So next what I want to do is actually a repeat. I'm going to grab that little gem lettuce and do another patch on the other side here. Scrape down some mulch here to make sure that nothing's going to run out when the rain hits it. Okay, great. I'm just going to clear this back and do a little bit more. Great. So next we are going to move on and I'm going to sow some of these Cracker Jack marigolds. So these do get taller. They'll typically get about 3 feet or so. And I am sowing these pretty heavily. I know that these are probably like 5 years old at least. Okay. And these will be a mix of like gold, like neon yellow, orange. These are very pretty. So I'm going to do another repeat right here. I'm going to do cilantro and then I'm going to do another zucchini. Just disturb that. I'm going to do my Coselle zucchini here. So beside the zucchini, I'm going to do a patch of chamomile. Oh, accidentally put way too much seed there. And now we're going to do some May Queen lettuce on the other side of the marigolds. So I'll go ahead and just do a large patch here for the May Queen. Next I have some early prolific straight neck summer squash. I'm going to do one here. I'm just going to do one seed. I probably shouldn't have done two in all of the others. I'm sure that every one of them will come up. And then one right across from it. Now in this area, I'm going to do some zinnias. So I'm just going to do a trench in the middle. And then we're going to do some poppy seeds here. So now I'm going to do the same thing and just disperse these seeds. Now I'm just going to grab a couple of the others from this bed. Okay, so first up we have Pacific Beauty Calendula. So on the other side of this, we're going to do Dazzling Blue Kale. Next to the kale, we're going to do a little bit of cilantro. Alright, so we did a couple of the early prolific straight neck summer squash. And then I'm going to do a trench of the cosmos here. Now I'm going to do a patch of the spilanthes. On the packet, these say that they'll get about 12 to 18 inches tall. So I didn't have very many left in that packet. I only sowed those about over to here. We'll see if they germinate. Next, we're going to be doing the Nero de Toscana kale. So these do get a bit taller. So I'm going to take this whole blocked area here and do a mix of the kale and a mix of parsley. So right here we're going to do an Italian striped coselle zucchini. And then here I want to do a patch of dahlias. And that is the pom-pom mix, by the way. Alright, we are in the last 1/3 of this bed. So we've sown seeds up to here, so now we just have to finish this out. I'm going to do yet another patch of chamomile because it is one of my favorite teas to drink. So I think I'll need a ton of that. There's just a couple of seeds left in that one. Next, we're going to do an early white bush scallop summer squash. And these do get pretty large. They will bush out, so I'm going to give this one a good amount of space around it. So here I'm going to do a little patch of dill. And then we're going to do some poppies right here. And right here, I'm going to do some collards. So I'm just going to do like a couple of patches. I'm just sowing a few seeds in these two little circles, just to make sure that I have at least one come up, because I really only need one in each of these areas, if that. And then lastly here, we're going to do a patch of yarrow. All right, now I'm just going to collect all these packets and water everything in. So the soil was already wet because it's been raining, so I'm just going to lightly water this in so I don't displace too many of the seeds. I'm going to try to keep everything blocked out and planted into the sections that I planned it. Okay, well that is all that I have time to plant today. I was able to get through 2 of these beds. Each of these are about 2.5 by 10 feet. So that is a good amount of space and a lot of seeds packed into that space. So I'm very excited to see how this is going to turn out. I'm sure it's going to go great. I've done my raised beds up front in pretty much the exact same way. So if you are interested in seeing how this turns out, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. And thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you have a great day. Bye!